The Lunaverse by Rainbow Double Dash. Chapter 20, Episode 24, Secret of Andalantis by Fizzy Orange. Chapter 7. Ditzy gasped at the idea that a third party could be involved in the war, devastating the lives of her new sea pony friends. This would certainly be a good thing if it meant the two aquatic tribes didn't have to fight each other anymore. Maybe with Trixie's help they could fight in Andalantis altogether and broker a new area of peace. Possibly defeat whoever was behind this evil plot. Charybdis, Sea Cucumber, and all the others deserve to live without being constantly chased. You expect us to believe that wild theory of yours? Asked Scylla angrily. Charybdis eyed her sea pony with suspicion. She was clearly not sure she should be so trusting of this dry pony. I am not sure I'm ready to believe it either. Please, Charybdis, wouldn't you prefer if it was true? Pleaded Ditzy. That this feud was all but a ploy by somebody else, and not to follow merponies? She said, also glancing back at the merpony leader. You, Scylla, wouldn't you rather be at peace? Why don't you give Zazina's idea a chance? Now, if she's right, we can all go home friends instead of enemies, and if she's wrong... And if she is wrong, asked Charybdis. If she's wrong, either the merponies took your daughter away, or you've been lying about it to get on my good side, the Pegasus said, her eyes allowing her to perform the incredible feat of glaring at both leaders at once. Either way, whoever is in the wrong will still get a very stern talking from me. There was a sudden silence until Trixie cleared her voice with a question. So, why does he explain how this whole thing works if you've done it before? I'd rather not reveal all my secrets to you, says Zane. How about you keep it vague then? Replied Trixie, very annoyed. Very well then. The principle is simple. If you ever create a conflict between two allies, while making certain neither of them realizes you are behind it. You create an original incident in confusing circumstances, then make sure to control communications between the two groups, lie to both sides, set up either other cons, or in this case ambushes, until they no longer talk to each other on their own. From then on, you just keep fabricating minor events and prove the other's involvement. After a while, it kind of sustains itself fairly easily. The hardest part is to get it started. When was the last time you tried to communicate with each other? Before I was born, answered Scylla, hitting a nod for Charybdis. Suzanne allowed herself a smirk. See what I mean? Why would anyone do this? Asked Sea Racer. Normally, in the political games, I am but a small player, said Suzanne, causing a derisive snort to comfort Trixie. You break apart allies, so they cannot push their agenda as effectively as they could together, allowing you to gain center stage. Dusky Jack was the next one to pipe up. So, it's the weakness then? Despite nodded, that would make sense to me. Trixie was the first to ask the obvious question. How many of those things are out there anyway? There's the one with the octopus tentacles, the one with the hairy limbs, the one with the crab princess, the one with the rare face, began to list you around. Last time he attacked our camp, there were 10 of them, said Scylla, interrupting the sea ponies. That sounds about right, said Charybdis. They're stronger than any of us, though. There's no way we could stand up to them, said Sea Racer. But together, you might be able to, pointing out Ditzy. Friendship's done wonders for us, added Trixie. Why would they be keeping this going for 100 years? Who could play a long game like that? Shouldn't they be coming for us already? There's barely any of my clan left, said the merpony leader, sounding frustrated. Our family, my clan, it's also fairly small. We can't do nothing but flee their attacks, added Charybdis. I doubt the originator is still around. If I had to guess, I'd say whatever objective they had was already accomplished, and they let the whole thing run itself before ditching you guys to your squabble, said Spy. So, why would the cow sharks be around then? Asked Ditzy. Makes a good point. Cow sharks I've encountered before aren't particularly bright. Doubt they can run this sort of con by themselves after there's some mastermind left. Agrees the sea racer. I that this whole war is actually run by a secret cabal of merchants who want to keep a stranglehold on all seaweed exports to Ecclestia. Began Trixie, much to everybody's confusion. You know, the spot ponies are always complaining about the monopoly on good seaweed for beauty rests that Zeldin merchants have. It's probably them. They have some sort of sorcerer controlling the cow sharks, maybe as dissapears. They've been known to have views on every nearby coastal areas and have a strong navy. It's possible that the cow sharks have some sort of secret weapon they want to use against Equestrian and Cavallan ships, and your war is a long-winded trial run. Maybe both are allied. There's a moment of silence, as nobody was sure how to interpret Trixie's outburst. Mostly sea ponies and merponies didn't have much concept of the troubles found in the surface world. Finally, Zane's laugh cut through the silence. Your imagination is getting ahead of yourself, Little Moon. Why did you lead to conspiracy theories to those of us with actual knowledge of the political world? Don't patronize me, blackmailer! It could totally happen! Insisted Trixie. You're just a delusional kid who thinks he can make it in the big leagues. Charybdis decided to interrupt the exchange before he could move involve further. Let's assume for now that this common enemy of ours still exists in one form or another. One thing interests me, Mr. Zane. How does one control communications in the early days of this con of yours? Easy. You have ponies on the inside, on either side, that send fake messages and intercept the real one. Simply answers Zane. The implication hung in the wires around the group like a dark cloud. That's an outrageous claim! Sighed Scylla. Who in their right mind of my people would side with someone like the cow sharks? I have to concur, said Charybdis. Plus it would require someone to stay within the same group for years. Well, it never happened in my lifetime. It did happen multiple times during the last century that we tried to exchange messages. Dwight Unicorn simply shook her head. It can't be the same pony during the entire time. It'd be way too easy to figure out. Would make the operation risky, added Trixie, getting where Zane was getting at. Of course, when I say the same pony, I mean... Smirking at the unicorn. Trixie returned a smirk with a glare, before finishing the same sentence. The same identity. It could be the same spy, but under a different name and a different magical disguise. That's the sort of thing you do for a price, isn't it? White Unicorn smiled at the statement. But we don't have magic, pointing out seeing around. Point taken, agreed Zane. I suppose in your case, it's probably a group of spies sharing duties. Some leaving, probably as one of the victims, or just before a new spy comes in. There was a comfortable silence once again. Ditzy felt a sense of dread in the pit of her stomach. She didn't want to speak up about it, but she knew sea ponies probably wouldn't raise that point themselves. Charybdis, she began. The sea pony Lyra interrupted her. This too, and I understand. I know what you fully have to say, and I trust her. She's way too young to be some sort of spy. I would never. She saved me! What are you two babbling about? Asked Scylla. Ditzy sighed. Charybdis told me she took in a stray sea pony a while back. Dusky and Scylla shot her look before the merpony later spoke up. We've done that sort of thing from time to time. No way! I won't believe that! Says the around, getting it off for Sea Racer. Sea Cucumber's way too young to be a spy! That's ridiculous! And I'd have none of that, said Charybdis in a tone that would not insult her. The point still stands that at many points in our history, we probably let some sort of spy on our mess. Same here, said Scylla with a sigh. We still don't have a motive, pointed Trixie, rubbing her chin with her hoof. What ain't you guys been up to for the last 100 years besides being teased by monsters? Both leaders looked at each other, engaging in some sort of staring contest. Silently, they seemed to be trying to convince the other to speak up first. The two were clearly not used to the idea of having such casual conversation in the middle of nowhere with their enemy of many generations. Trixie crossed her foreheads over her barrel. One of you is going to have to speak up first. Hoist yourself, I'll go first, declared Scylla angrily. I can't let Miss Claim and Fancy over there get all the good parts. I'm the leader too, so maybe I should so I could be mature too. We've been looking for Andalantis. Tourist gasped. We have been doing the same thing. That must be why they took Lyra! She is knowledgeable on tons of legends. She probably knows a thing or two about Atlantis that could be useful, declared Trixie. How they knew she knew that stuff, though. I still think you're wrong thinking that there's a mastermind at work on this, says Zane, shaking her head. Ditzy placed a hoof on Terebritus to grab her attention. She looked at her, and the Pegasus motioned to the sea pony's bag, and then at Trixie. Size and sage was enough for Terebritus to understand. In fact, my search for Atlantis is the very reason I even came out here for today. She began. I have something important to show Miss Trixie. Something that very well might help us find our missing friends. If our enemies are indeed looking to solve the secret of Atlantis, they'll certainly be exploring some of the areas on the map I'm carrying with me. The other ponies and Ditzy friends gasped as one. You have a map to Atlantis? Asked Scylla. Yes, or more precisely, I have a star chart, replied the sea pony leader. Trixie realized this meant rather quickly. Oh, you need the great and powerful Trixie's secret to unveil another secret? Well, as personal student to Her Majesty Princess Luna, it is true I know the secrets to her star charts, and I will be happy to help, but, as the saying, but I'll need a more recent map to compare it to. I don't see the problem. Captain Sunset Beard certainly has one on the light. Let's go see him, and I can see my little muffin again, said Ditzy with a smile. But, began to stammer the blue unicorn. Spit it out already, would you? Real politicians don't stammer in public, blazed the white unicorn. I don't want to tell Bonbon I lost her mare friend! Lyra, Rock Beauty, and Sea Shanty were making some good progress on the song. There were a few symbols that were chipped, and so they weren't quite sure which way it would go. But the song had a relatively simple structure, and he extrapolated other segments. There were an awful lot of silences, though, and Lyra felt it a tad odd to include so much early in the song. She also couldn't shake the feeling that what they had worked out was somewhat familiar. Then they hit the main chords and the clicks. I know that song! Or at least a song that's similar to it, she declared. Both Sea Pony and Mer Pony expressed surprise at the statement and asked her to elaborate. It was in the musical play, Legend of Atlantis, I played back in school. The play is a few hundred years old, and the songs are supposed to be based on actual Sea Pony and Mer Pony music. This chorus is part of the opening song of the play. The beginning is a little richer, though. Was a hand instrument to me, so you can listen to it. Let me guess, it goes. Under the sea. Under the sea. She looked around, taking stock of what was available to her. There were mostly just rocks and a few pieces of broken coral. She considered summoning her lyre, though, but she wanted to keep that as a last resort surprise. She didn't want any pony nearby to hear it well enough. She persisted herself and began to tap a hoof on a stone to create a beat. Less satisfied, she began to whip her tail, making a soft, barely audible whooshing sound. Once done, she began to hum the melody of the song, her tail adding accents from time to time. When she got to the chorus, Sea Shanty and Rock Beauty stopped her. It reminds me of an old traditional song. My grandma used to sing one like that to me, too, added Rock Beauty. Why don't you go first, she said to the Sea Pony. Rock Beauty nodded and began to sing. Didn't have any lyrics, only sounds. To Lyra, it sounded rather soothing. She had to remind Rock Beauty not to sing so loudly. But in the whole, the performance seemed flawless. There was definitely something familiar about this song. But also some bits were different. Of course, being limited to one note at a time created silence. As Sea Shanty began to sing her own song, once again very similar, or even down to the chorus section. All the while she sang, Lyra had her eyes closed, and counted time in her head, visualizing the song as sheet music in her mind. The song itself was certainly similar to the opening of the play, but it was much closer in simplicity to the song on the wall. Once Sea Shanty was finished, Lyra asked Rock Beauty to repeat her performance. Once Lyra counted the notes and visualized the song in her mind. When that was finished, she went to examine the wall once more. She broadly turned to the pair. Whoever this sea cucumber really is, she picked the right ponies to tackle this. Cracking this little mystery is fun, but I think it's about time we planned our escape. She said, "Wait, what?" asked a confused Rock Beauty. "How are we going to get past the guards?" asked Sea Santy. Lyra smiled her smirk. "A little cunning, a little luck, and a little helping of magic." At that, her horn began to glow, much to the fascination of the two aquatic ponies. "Lass, you better stop your pacing before you wear a hole in me boots!" as complained Sunset Bar. "Sorry," said Bonbon sheepishly, sitting back down beside Sparkler. Captain grunted before turning back to Dinky, as he regaled her tall tales to the high sea. "You shouldn't worry so much. I'm sure everything will be fine," said the unicorn, only sounding half convinced herself. "It hasn't even been 2 hours yet." "I know. Normally I don't get this worried, but right now there really isn't anything to take my mind off the situation," said the air pony, looking forlornly at Lyra's lyre. As soon as they had come back to the boat, Bonbon had taken the instrument out of its storage bag so she could see it disappear, so Lyra called for it. As the star turned to where the captain was entertaining Dinky. "I'm glad Mr. Sunset Beard is helping on that front. Maybe you should listen to his stories too?" Bonbon hung her head. "I tried earlier, but his talk of storms made me feel sick, so I had to bail." "What was that?" asked the unicorn. "When you were flying your eyeglasses at Windsealer," replied Bonbon with a smirk. Sparkle began to stammer and blush. "I was just worried. It's a long flight back to Cayo El Bayo without a map, and I was making sure he was taking some water to keep him hydrated." "He's a Pegasus and could easily drink water out of a cloud," replied Bonbon, rolling her eyes. "It's not that far for a young athletic pony like him." "Oh, yes, very athletic," replied the blushing young mare, staring into the distance. Bonbon chuckled. "I see someone caught the feather flu. You do remember he came here with Rarity, right? Unless you're banking on a threesome." Sparkle gasped. "Bonbon!" Bonbon's giggling was interrupted by the voice of someone calling Dinky's name. It was faint at first, but it was getting closer and closer. The little unicorn raced out the edge, looking expectantly at the sky. "Mama!" she called out, spying the familiar gray form flying towards them. Hearing her daughter's voice seemed to multiply Ditzy's speed. In bursts of acceleration, she was on the deck of her boat, hugging her daughter, fast enough to make Rainbow Dash jealous. "Mama! My little nothing! Ditzy, I'm so glad to see you!" Bonbon came up and gave the male mare a friendly pat on the shoulder. "Same here. You had us all worried. Where were you? Did you see the others? They went looking for you. Oh, jeez, we forgot to think of a way to contact them. If you return on your own, what are we going to do?" "Don't worry, Bonbon," began Ditzy. "The others found me. They just sent me ahead." "What happened down there?" asked Buckler. Ditzy finally let go, thinking. "Nothing. Why don't you get us that bottle of apple juice in my bag?" "Will do, Mama," said Dinky with a smile. They came out a glacier as he sped up to the bags. "It began when I was separated from the others. He got attacked by strange shark creatures," Ditzy began, quickly getting through the scarier parts of her tale before Dinky could hear it. She told the presence of her encounter with the sea ponies, the dire situation and their war. She told him how they met up with Trixie's group, who had encountered merponies on their own. Listed difficulty, about how Lyra and 2 of the merponies disappeared. Before Bonbon could voice too much concern, Ditzy quickly mentioned Rarity not actually being Rarity, and how she deduced the war between the 2 crews of states. "And now Trixie is coming over here to compare the sea pony maps with your maps, Captain," finally concluded Ditzy. The captain looked at Tad's son. "Let it be. Excellent sea ponies and merponies. I never even caught glimpses of one before." "Oh, Lyra, you fool! You crazy, beautiful, charming fool! What have you got yourself into this time?" asked Bonbon, looking up at the sky with a heavy sigh. A couple of splashing sounds brought her attention back to the sea, where 2 horned heads were popping out of the water. One was Trixie's. The other was the mysterious imposter's. Beneath them, beneath the surface of the water, were 2 groups of shapes. Bonbon and the others who had stayed on the boat both gaped at their sight of sea ponies and merponies. Violet-colored merpony waved a hoof, while a magenta sea pony did a flip under the water as a form of greeting. A broadly smiled Dinky happily returned the greeting with an excited wave. "Dinky, don't be cute!" "The great and powerful Trixie has returned!" She brings back the lust in her eyes of aquatic ponies and a blackmailer, declared the blue unicorn, glaring at her white companion. Hiya, Miss Trixie, greeted Ditzy. I'm going to use that Rarity. Guys, this is a zing. It's a zing. You've seen this guys before, right? Dryly said a very wet Trixie as he climbed back on the boat. Charmed, simply said Sparkler, glaring at the older unicorn. Suzanne proceeded to do the most annoying thing possible, ignoring the jeweler and grabbing a towel to dry her mane. I see when sailors off to find the Coast Guards, she asked Bonbon. Yes, the candy maker replied, still gazing in surprise at their aquatic friends. Don't think I won't tell him about you when we meet each other again, shouted Trixie from the captain's piloting station. Why aren't they coming in to meet us? Asked Ditzy, referring to the sea ponies and merponies. They lost the ability to breathe air when they lost their magic long ago, explained Trixie, a hint of sadness in her voice. But with what we have, we might even be able to solve that problem. And fine, Lyra, asked Bonbon icily. Of course! Trixie signaled to one of the aquatic ponies, presumably their leader Terribitus, who then proceeded to hang a stone carved map on the underside of the boat's glass door. From this position, Trixie could study the map without it breaking out of the water, which would risk damaging the centuries-old artifact. She and the captain began to compare the two star charts and the Andalantis modern map of the Cayo El Bayo region. Meanwhile, Ditzy had begun a funny face contest with the magenta sea pony that Ditzy had identified as seeing around. I don't get it, began Trixie, looking out to the side of the boat towards Lucky Seagull Island. It's not on the old map. Is the island volcanic? I doubt it. This isn't a volcanic area, commented Sparkler, peering at the map inquisitively. This entire region is the Lafonic Cove formation that was carved out of sedimentary rock that was revealed at the last flood age. Maud, a little help here? Trixie looked at the jeweler. What? I work with gemstones. I need a basic knowledge of geology for my job. Well, whatever this island is, it's right next to where the star chart says you can find Atlantis, commented Sunset Bard. Ditzy came over to the group, keep an eye out for Seagull Island. Are you telling me we were this close to the Lost City? Can it really be this easy? Trixie shrugged. I don't know, Ditzy. Our best bet is to go and check it out. Trixie! Came Bonbon's panic call. Everybody turned towards the confessor in time to see Lyra's instrument, surrounded by a golden light. It lit from the ground before it vanished into thin air. It took a second for everyone to process what that meant. Lyra! Gasped Bonbon, Ditzy, Sparkler, and Trixie. Lyra's heart quickly flashed as her eyes took on their blue glow once more. Trixie took a second to realize this was the first time she ever used this spell so intensively over a short period of time. I got a lock on her strands of magic. We have to go before it fades, she declared, turning towards Lucky Seagull Island. She's that way! Ditzy! Zazing! Let's go! A cream-colored hoof held onto her shoulder before she could come back on the wire. I'm coming with you, said the Earth Pony, in a tone so matter-of-factly she might well have been stating the color of her fur or Princess Luna's name. Trixie only took a second to make sure Bonbon's water-breathing spell was still properly bonding to her before nodding. Good luck, Mama! Called Dinky as two unicorns, a Pegasus and an Earth Pony, disappeared back beneath the water.